My name's Gina Perini Gordon. I have been with Challenge Day twice now for a 5 year stint, and then I took a break. Um, had my babies. I have three about 13 years ago. I was traveling back from a wedding on the West Coast to my home in the Chicagoland area, and I sat next to two people, and the woman next to me and we were reading the same book. And though she didn't really send the vibe that she wanted to chat with me, we started chatting and we ended up talking for most of the flight. I got her card, went home, looked it up. She told me I could volunteer at one of their workshops. And it was two Challenge Day facilitators who later became my bosses and my trainers. I was teaching for about 10 years at that point, and I volunteered at a local Challenge Day, and that's what really began my journey. So I credit her for having that seat on that flight that day. I like to start my day on my mat. I'm big into yoga. Sometimes it's 20 minutes, sometimes it's an hour and 20 minutes. There needs to usually be a focal point. For me, it's typically a candle. There's a meditation or music going on in the background. But for me, I've really found, I wish I had found my mat decades before before I actually did. I wish I found yoga in high school. So I start my day that way. And I also have a couple songs that I like to listen to. Everything that I listen to in the morning before a challenge day is in Italian. There's something for me that though I know the language, I can't keep up with the songs always. And when I can kind of tune out and just like let it be rhythmic as I'm driving to my challenge day, for whatever reason, it allows me to kind of really hone in on the language and the focal point of the verbiage and words that I'm going to be using in the room that day. So that's kind of what I do. It's been the greatest gift. Teaching, you have a teaching partner. And I think that I always kind of valued as an educator that there was a partnership to it until I got to Challenge Day and recognized true partnership, I believe, lands in that room. And for all of us as facilitators, we value the partnership, the person that we're standing next to, the person that we're holding that day with. We value that's our top priority all day is to stay connected, be on the same page. And the message is it's so beautifully woven together because no two of us are alike, period, anyway. And a lot of times our energy vibes, connect, and those are not alike. It's very, very yin and yang, however we're partnered in the day. What I have found is that it has allowed me to recognize the various ways that we partner and find community in life. Like for me, I'm married. Yes, it's to a former Challenge Day leader, but however, I look forward to showing up to those rooms and partnering with the different men that I have worked with, the different women that I've led retreats with in this leader body. It just reminds me that we're constantly being asked by society and in our career choices to partner with folks. And this has allowed for vulnerability and sensitivity and all the things that need to be forward facing. And we really need to show up publicly in a harmonious way. And it allows us to really give feedback, speak from the heart, like better each other, right? So if we're open to it, we're really there. We show up in those rooms to raise the bar for each other in our partnership so that we can raise the bar for the young people and the adults in the room in community, whatever their community is. Oh my gosh, I was a hot mess. I mean, I think that phrase is probably overused and typically, stereotypically right now lands in the laps of moms that we're all hot messes. However, I wasn't a mom at that point and I was a nervous wreck. I mean, public speaking is definitely still in America, at least the number one fear. There's a reason for that. There's a lot of emotions and hormones and things that are racing through us when we're put in front of a group of 100 young ones and 25 adults, peers. I really had to learn how to trust myself, how to show up with the integrity that I carry when I'm not on a microphone every day. I had to learn it's an invitation to grow personally so that you can better others professionally and in that partnership. But you have to get through the sticky part. For me, it was several weeks of getting through my fears, trusting myself on the microphone, being human, like recognizing that this is progress, not perfection, and that we are not showing up to lead these workshops in this, like, we don't want it to be this cookie cutter, like shiny object. We want everything about the workshop to have a human component to it. So I just needed to say, Gina, chill out, take a breath, say I'm sorry on the mic, say I don't know on the mic, and say, hey, I forgot where I'm at on the mic. Just like say it, be a human, and let them embrace their humanity with you. But you have to go first as the leader of the day. The pandemic, in whatever degree we experienced it, asked all of us to separate from each other. And the very thing that we're trying to do within a challenge day is the opposing energy to see how we're already separated and how can we erase those lines and humanize each other. Post-pandemic, we're having to just like be in a room, like physically belly to belly again. It, when I go back to our hierarchy of needs, which I fully believe in, once we've got the basics and the safety, those first two levels, that third level in Maslow's hierarchy of needs is connection. We were so disconnected for so long that it became our new habit and our way of life for a while. So we're having to remember our old ways, kind of peel back the layers again, recognize that we have that commonality, even though that's not what shows up first, is that it was a common universal experience. It's all the ways that we separated through that. And below that is all the ways we were already separated prior to the pandemic. So we're working with those layers. What we see in the rooms is there's a level of shutdown still. There's a level of hesitancy. There's a level of distrust. There's layers of looking at the other people, peers around us, and relearning that even though we may recharge by ourselves, we need each other to move things forward, right? We are, we're pack animals and meant to be together. So I feel like in the rooms, there's just a couple extra levels that we are trying to work with and through to get to that connection again. And we're doing it. I've always loved this program. I knew sitting next to that couple, those partners on that flight, that there was something unique about them. And without them saying a word, they just had that vibration and that energy of, they were change makers. I knew it. Then I went to my first challenge day. And yes, in my body, I felt like I need to be doing this work. That was my own personal experience. But as a group and as a whole, I sat in that first challenge day and I felt like this is our next curriculum. Like coming from a classroom, that was the language that I spoke. I felt like this is a classroom. Every young person and every educator needs to sit in this classroom. And then I became a leader, and my first 5 years leading, I loved seeing what work could be done in a short 6 hours. How much connection, how well we could really recognize the humanity in the next person, and how much compassion shows up when we all get to be kids together. We break down the barriers and we recognize the similarities instead of pointing out our differences. Like that is really the crux of what we're doing. Very, very watered down version, in a couple sentences there. But I loved seeing and sitting with the discomfort at the beginning of the day and then watching the compassion by the end of the day. Well, now I've taken years off and I'm back and I'm sitting in the room still as a facilitator, still as a previous educator, and now I'm a parent. And I can't imagine not having this program available selfishly for my own children and for the young people that are at the schools that they're going to. There are multiple schools right now. And the young people that are in our neighborhood that they play with that are not at our school. And I just know they've opened up a world of, new people to me, and new schools, and Challenge Day's not in any of these. I think what I'd love to, what I envision for the future within the next year is that this program gets picked up as a precious piece of curriculum that is necessary and seen as a classroom that young people need to sit in, that educators need to sit in. My hope for the next 5 years is that we look at this program that's been built and we chunk it down and break it down so that the educators that have sat with us in the circles and educators who've never even stepped into a challenge day alike, whether they are part of the circle and have done a challenge day or not, that we can really look at the core components of what we're teaching and how we're uniting throughout the day, break that into smaller bite-sized pieces of curriculum, not so that educators have more work to do, but so that they can literally implement it and have Challenge Day be a classroom that's revisited throughout the school year, not just a one-day program. Though I love leading them and I will continue leading them, and I want all the young people in the Bay Area and every young person I've ever, taught in my classrooms, I want everybody to be able to come to a Challenge Day. And in between that experience, prior to it or after it, I would love for Challenge Day to be a classroom that gets to be part of every day or every week or even monthly curriculum, just in the social, emotional learning component, so that every young person has the ability to say, if you really knew me. That's the statement we need to keep going back to, I feel like. That's where the commonalities come out. That's where the compassion shows up. If you really knew me, that can be woven into our classrooms every single day. And Challenge Day can put out a way we can give our teachers and our administrators a way that fits seamlessly into what they're already doing.